Welcome to the Love and Liberty Podcast, Episode 2. Today, we're really going to get into the career of a name you're hearing a lot again in college football, Andreu Swasey. And this isn't just, lifting weights. It's about what makes a coach truly legendary. How you turn raw potential into elite performance, and just the sheer force of personality and dedication involved in that process. So our mission today really is to unpack Swasey's journey from that long, really impactful time at the University of Miami, all the way to his exciting new gig with Coach Prime here in Colorado. And we've dug through, everything. Articles, interviews, social media chatter, trying to give you a really full picture of his philosophy, and maybe more importantly, why so many top athletes just seem to flock to him. And speaking of impact, you really have to start with a story about Alvin Kamara and a promise Swasey made him. It's a good one. Back in about 2015, Swasey told him, and this is a direct quote, "If you keep working out with me, if you stick with me, you're going to make $100 million. Pretty bold promise, isn't it? And then fast forward to 2023, Kamara signs this big extension with the Saints, and he says they're almost there to that 100 million mark. It just makes you think, what's going on in Coach Swasey's program? So before Colorado, his biggest footprint was definitely at the University of Miami. He was the head strength and conditioning coach there for, some of our sources say 15 years, others say closer to 18. Either way, a very long tenure, a significant chunk of time. And during that period, he wasn't just a coach. He became a legend. Not just at Miami, but kind of across the whole profession of football. And his impact, the word transformative, really fits for what he does. He basically built what people have called the hurricane pipeline to the NFL. Think about this. Between 98 and 2016, under his watch, Miami cranks out 100 NFL draft picks. 100! That's staggering. And not just any old picks. 31 first rounders, 27 Pro Bowlers, and Hall of Famers, Ed Reed, Edgerrin James. It wasn't just talent walking in the door, but talent being seriously and professionally developed. And he was right there during Miami's glory years, the early 2000s, when they had an insane 34-game win streak, 2000 to 2002. The longest since 71, I believe. Incredible. Swasey coached in 10 bowl games. The national championship game in 2001, at the Rose Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, Fiesta, Orange Bowl, all the big ones, all of them. And you look at that dominance, those eras, and you gotta ask, what were these top-tier athletes finding in Coach Swasey's program? What kept them coming back? And that's really a key question, especially when you think about how he left Miami, which was controversial. 2016, new coach, Mark Richt. Let him go. And Richt even said Swasey had done nothing wrong, which just makes it even stranger, right? Clearly, it had nothing to do with actual performance. And the players, his former players, their reaction was immediate and loud. Big names like Andre Johnson, Ed Reed, Edgerrin James, Reggie Wayne, Santana Moss, Jimmy Graham, Jonathan Vilma, and the list goes on. They were upset. They were reaching out to him constantly. Santana Moss had a standout quote during this time, something like, If it wasn't for Swasey, our teams would have been way worse. And his brother, Sonoris Moss, chimed in as well. He said Swasey bled for that school and those players. Even current NFL guys came back for Swasey. They choose to train with him in the offseason instead of their own NFL team facilities. That speaks volumes, doesn't it? That kind of loyalty. I mean, you'll see that everywhere. It tells you there's something much deeper going on than just, lifting weights. Okay, so given that history, that intense loyalty, what is the Swasey philosophy? Let's unpack it. At its core, it's centered around Olympic-style lifting. Okay, so what does that mean exactly? Think explosive movements, free weights, multiple joints working together, exercises like cleans, snatches, jerks. He calls it a track-based system. Its design is to build speed and power, to recruit maximum power, maximum speed. It mimics what athletes actually do on the field. And how does that compare to other methods? Well, he contrasts it pretty sharply with what's called high-intensity training, or HIIT, H-I-T, which focuses more on cardio endurance than pure muscle building. But Swasey's approach is not just about building muscle mass, it's holistic. It's about developing the tendons, ligaments, improving coordination, body awareness, really expanding the athlete's overall ability. Functional power and consistency are key to Swasey too. He loves the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. His core methods, the foundation, have stayed pretty consistent over all these years, which athletes must have really valued in a world where everyone's chasing the newest fad. And the program itself, it requires some serious commitment. Year-long, mandatory, structured into 5 phases, building mass before spring ball, maintaining during the season, and addressing everything in between. He's even overseeing diet and nutrition. It's a comprehensive system, and it goes beyond just the physical. He has a famous saying, the weight room is mental. The weight room is mental. He's known for being pretty stern and initially tough with his players. I read some players called him crazy or described it as a dictatorship at first. Guys like AJ Highsmith and Damian Barry said things like that, but not with the camera around. Eventually, they would buy in, and they saw the discipline he demanded in the weight room transfer to their lives off the field too. So Swasey's system is building character and mental toughness, not just muscle, which leads us to Coach Swasey's X Factor. He talks about the X Factor. He calls it the grit side of the weight room, the grit side. And he basically says, if you can master that, you can't lose in this game. So for him, having the right mental edge is everything. He sees his job not just as telling guys what to lift, but as selling them on the whole process. And he does that by showing them tangible results, real changes. They see their bodies changing. They get faster, stronger, maybe have fewer nagging injuries. Results talk, basically. In fact, he knows his athletes, especially the younger guys, they need to see it working to truly buy into something that is so demanding and requires such a long-term commitment. He creates the environment for them to find that grit and the results in terms of transforming athletes. The reputation is there and the actual examples are pretty mind-blowing. He's worked with some absolute freaks, athletically speaking. Let's talk specifics. Jonathan Vilma comes into Miami at 197, runs a 4.97 40. That's not great for a linebacker. Swasey gets him bigger, stronger, faster. On pro day, he runs a 4.57 40, drops 0.4 of a second, and adds a 36-inch vertical. A serious transformation. Allen Bailey, defensive end, power cleans 4.05, runs a 4.6 40, and jumps 40 inches. Just elite numbers for a big man. Okay, but the list just keeps going. These aren't just one or two guys. Willis McGahee, running back, freakish number. At 232 pounds, he runs a 4.240. At that size, almost unheard of. And power cleans 365, squats 675, benches over 400. Just ridiculous. And Sean Taylor, a safety often listed around 220, but Swasey says he was closer to 236 and still ran a 4.3840 with a 40.5-inch vertical. They said he was too athletic to even move to linebacker. Incredible. Even his really big guys like Vince Wilfork, 321 pounds, ran a 4.940. That is just moving for a guy that size. Wild. And think about the pure speed guys. He had multiple guys in the 4.2 range. Philip Dorsett, Santana Moss, Clinton Portis, Sam Shields supposedly ran an unofficial 4.1, a 4.16 or something like that. Blistering speed. And Jimmy Graham's story is unique too. A Miami basketball player turned tight end, came in around 250 pounds from basketball. Swasey helps him get to a 270-pound tight end who could still run, ran a 4.540. That is nuts. And Swasey's point about all these guys is that they enhanced and expanded their talent. It wasn't just natural gifts. It was being willing to apply work ethic within his system. So his goal for players is always bigger, faster, stronger, but also coordinated explosiveness. His first step for everyone seems like it doesn't matter the position. Develop the whole athlete. It makes you wonder, were these guys just genetic freaks, or did that consistency, that grit that Coach Swasey demanded, unlock something extra in them? It's a fascinating question. Okay, so after Miami, he has a stint at FIU. Even coaches high school for a bit, Miami Columbus. And NFL guys were still apparently seeking him out there at a high school to train. That's a lot. And now the latest chapter, he joins Coach Prime, head coach Deion Sanders here in Colorado as the head strength and conditioning coach for the Buffaloes. The reaction has been universally positive. People are calling it a grand slam of a hire. It fits perfectly with what Coach Prime has said he wants to do. Modernize the program and bring it up to NFL standards. And Swasey's reputation, even within the NFL itself, adds even more instant credibility to the CU football program. Coach Swasey was literally an ideal fit for Coach Prime's vision. And he came in hot, didn't he? Did you see the first team meeting? The speech? Google it. It was fiery. He told the players straight up, we didn't sign up here with Coach Prime to be average. When we go in there, you better buckle up. A strong message that definitely set the tone. And Coach Prime himself said Swasey's emphasis on consistency, passion, expectations, and holding people accountable mirrored his own approach. And here's another interesting angle. Swasey is potentially drawing even more attention to Colorado, not just recruits, but potentially also pros. Think about his client list, Alvin Kamara, and all the other NFL guys he still trains, right? Is it possible some of those guys might choose to come train with Swasey in Colorado during the off seasons? Especially with, the nice weather in Boulder in the summer compared to, say, Florida or Louisiana. That could definitely encourage people to want to come work out here in the off season. Could definitely be another boost to Colorado's ever-expanding cachet. Could make CU even more of a destination for guys with NFL aspirations. Seeing pros working out on campus definitely sends a message. And we're seeing early signs of his impact. Reports are coming out about the new guys, the early enrollees, the transfers, high school kids. And what are they saying? They're all showing significant size increases already, especially noticeable in the trenches, the O-line and D-line. So the methods are taking hold, getting guys bigger and stronger right away. The Swasey effect is already showing up in Boulder. Okay, so we've taken a real deep dive into Coach Andreu Swasey's career, an incredible journey. From shaping those NFL legends at Miami, building that pipeline, to now bringing that championship philosophy, that whole X Factor concept to Coach Prime here in Boulder, Colorado. Swasey's story is such a powerful reminder, isn't it? That great coaching is so much more than just the physical stuff. It really highlights how crucial consistency is. Having that relentless accountability and actively cultivating mental toughness, that grit, as he calls it, the X factor of grit. That kind of leaves us with a question to chew on, doesn't it? What's that, you ask? Well, think about your own life, your own goals, whatever you're pursuing. Where can you find and really cultivate that X factor, that grit within yourself? And how might applying that kind of consistent, results-focused effort, how might that change what you believe is possible for yourself? This has been the Love and Liberty Podcast, Episode 2. In our next podcast, I'm going to share how Coach Prime Deion Sanders Jr. and the new Buffs program inspired me to lose 60 pounds over the first year that they were in Boulder. That's coming up next. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, and subscribe for much more upcoming content about the Buffs, the intersection of sports, culture, and politics, and fitness. This is L&L, wishing you all love and liberty. Peace.